For our last presentation today, we're going to go actually to New York, where Bas Timmer is joining us. He's over there. Hi, Bas. I think he's probably setting up some production of Sheltersuit. So I can't wait to hear what you've been doing.
Hi, Bas.
Hi, Lidwij. Hi, Philip.
And we look forward to you explaining, your journey in life, Sheltersuits, and also how people can help you continue to help others.
Thank you, Philip. I'm also looking forward to talk to you guys. My name is Bas Timmer, and I studied fashion design, and I started Sheltersuit 7 years ago. I was working on my own clothing brand, specifically warm weather clothing, like very warm jackets or hoodies with a scarf attached to it, like this. And while I was walking on the streets of Copenhagen, I saw a lot of people there that were homeless, that were laying in the cold. And I just felt a bit frustrated that I was making these warm clothes while these guys were there laying in the cold. So I thought maybe I can design something for them. Maybe I can give away my hoodies. So I called my inspiration, my mother, and I asked her, is it okay if I give away my hoodies? And she said, well, if you give them away to the people there, I think nobody's going to buy the hoodies anymore. And so I listened to her. I didn't do anything. I went back to my hometown, Enschede, and continued with my studies and my own brand. And out of the blue, we hear the news that the father of two of my friends, who was homeless at the time, died due to hypothermia on the streets. He knocked the door of the shelter, and they didn't open the door. Or they did open the door actually, but said they were closed, and they gave him a thin blanket. And I just felt a bit horrible that I had the thought of helping people and I didn't do it. And I'm really a doer, so it frustrated for me. And so I called my mother again. I asked, shall I give away some hoodies now? And she said, maybe you can do something better. Maybe you can design something for them that's more stronger, that's something for day and night. So I just went to my studio and I made a sample out of leftover materials. Like I picked an old tent from my house and an old sleeping bag, and I just made a jacket with a zipper at the bottom so you could attach a waterproof sleeping bag to it. This is a jacket like that. It's, as you can see, super beautiful on the inside because it has like old sleeping bags. But when I gave away the first one to a guy in Enschede, I was very nervous, of course, because like I designed something for somebody, he didn't ask for it. So how is he going to respond? Is he going to be angry? Like, who do you think you are? I don't need that thing. Or maybe he is super happy with it. So I approached him. I said, hey man, is your name Peter? I heard that from the social workers. And he immediately was a bit aggressive. Like, yeah, what do you want from me? I got not very nice vibe. So I just had a backpack with me and I took out the Sheltersuit, and he completely changed into a super nice guy. I took on the jacket, he took on the jacket, and the response was just so nice that we did a selfie together. And I left the daycare, like the place where he was, where he was, and I just felt super energized that I was actually making somebody really happy with my designs and that it could also protect him. So when I was outside, I decided, okay, let's make 100, give it away, and then return to my old fashion brand. So I just started to call companies like Nomad, which is a big sleeping bag company, and asked, hey, do you guys maybe have leftovers, sleeping bags that have a screen print mistake or a zipper that doesn't work? And they say, yeah, of course, we got a lot of them. I said, okay, can I have 100? They said, yeah, sure. So they sent it to us. And I called Ten Kate, who was making tent fabric, because I used tent fabric. I thought, okay, maybe that works well. And they also said, well, we got a lot of leftover materials because, yeah, if there's a small color mistake in the coloring process, we can't sell it anymore. How much do you need? Well, I said 500 meters because there's 5 meters in one Sheltersuit. And so they shipped it to us. I approached the social factory because, yeah, I can make one Sheltersuit a day approximately, So it would take me 100 days. So I asked the social factory if they could help out. They immediately said, yes, of course we can do that. And within a year, we made 100 of these shelter suits and distribute them all across the Netherlands with organizations like the Salvation Army. And the most beautiful part for me was that my friends all helped in the process. It really, if I think back at that moment, it was maybe the most beautiful year, because yeah, my friends also said that they really liked that something positive came out of this tragic thing. Of course, this also appeared in the media and in the news. So we got a lot of requests from other shelters if we could also bring them some shelter suits, but we handed them all out. So, oh, I also need to share the screen. Sometimes I talk so much that I forget that I actually have a presentation. Give me a second. Keynote. Open system. Give me 1 second. Zoom, share screen. Advanced. Files. Basic, where is it? Oh my God, I think I have the system preferences not okay. How can I do this? General visit. Can you help me a second? Oh, sorry, guys.
That's okay, Bas. We'll edit this out. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. Super. Give me 1 second. Put it stop video here. Share screen. Keynote unknown. Open system. Perhaps hold shift to select multiple windows. Philip. Do you guys see something? No, right? Oh.
We see your photo.
What photo do you see?
A little portrait of you.
Oh no, yeah, that's me. Give me 1 second, Philip. I can also go on the online version, which maybe works better because I'm now on the Zoom. Let me see. Knew this was happening. I thought I was all prepared and super. 1 second. Yes, here we go. Cancel, join from browser. Bus. I'm not a robot. Join. Okay. Oh, the meeting link is invalid. Are you kidding me?
Are you able to share your whole screen, Bas?
No. Tony, can you maybe take a look? Here, security. It says like
Philip,
this.
do we need to send a link or something?
No, he's on.
Okay.
You're joining from the same computer, correct?
Ah, there we go. I think I got it. Yeah.
We're just checking if Bas is still there because I have a feeling that his connection has, there he is. We're just going to make him, he's reconnecting.
I designed a shelter suit. It has a very big hoodie with an attached scarf in the neck. The outside is completely waterproof and upcycled. And so after that first distribution, we got all the requests from other shelters, and we decided to create our own factory. All of what you see here, that we're protecting the homeless, we're creating jobs for people that have a distance to the labor market, and we're upcycling materials, was all out of necessity because I just didn't have money. So searching for those leftover materials was super nice because I came in touch with all these beautiful, unique materials. And we, of course, need people to make the suits in our own social factory. So we approached a refugee center because there were a lot of people that have very good skills behind the sewing machine. And we asked if those guys wanted to help us to make these suits for the homeless for free. And they immediately said, yes, we would love to. So we've contacted the municipality to ask if we can have a free space. They said, yes, of course, because they really liked what we were trying to do. I called a sewing machine company, asked if they could donate like 6 sewing machines. They also said, yes, of course we can do that. And like in a month's time, we set up our total social factory, and the people came there. And within a year, we made over 1,000 suits. We distribute them also, more across Europe. But what we saw is that the people working in our factory, they lost all their family, of course, when they traveled to the Netherlands. But a lot of their friends were still stuck in refugee camps in Lesbos. So we decided as a team to also protect the refugees in Lesbos. And we went there together also with Sasho, who's one of our lead managers in the production. And we distributed approximately 1,500 of these shelter suits to the children in Lesbos, which was a super experience, of course, but it was also very, very hard, because what we saw there, I still, if I think about it, it really gives me a bad feeling, because what we actually do there as Europeans, it's outrageous. The people living there in very, very bad circumstances, on bare feet, not good food, not good showers, etc. So it was it was not nice for us to experience. So on the left, you see old sleeping bags. We wash them and we cut them up. We hang them to dry in our factory. And so every shelter suit becomes unique. I also have a video that I would like to show you guys that shows our factory, the people in it, and the people we help. I hope you hear the video. Ik heb mode gestudeerd en ik had mijn eigen kledinglijn. En toen er in Enschede een man overleed aan onderkoeling, dat bleek de vader te zijn van 2 vrienden van mij. Deed me dat zoveel pijn dat dit in Nederland gebeurt, dat ik dacht, misschien kan ik iets ontwerpen dat dit tegengaat. En dat heb ik toen gedaan. Ik heb 1 pak uitgedeeld aan een dakloze man in Enschede. En wat er bij die man teweeg bracht, dat was gewoon echt oprechte blijheid. Nou, dat was eigenlijk voor mij het moment om niet meer door te gaan. Er zijn inmiddels ook 31.000 daklozen in Nederland. En dat is een behoorlijk hoog getal. De Sheltersuit is een waterdichte jas met een aanritsbare slaapzak. Met een hele grote capuchon, met een ingebouwde kool, zodat je je gezicht ook nog goed kunt beschermen. De Sheltersuit wordt gemaakt hier in ons sociale naaiatelier. Waar voornamelijk vluchtelingen werken. Ook andere mensen die een afstand hebben tot de arbeidsmarkt. Het is altijd gezellig hier met heel veel nationaliteiten werken. Er zijn heel veel Syrische jongens, Afrikaans. Ik heb al ervaring voor 14 jaar als kleermaker. Mijn opa had een bedrijf toen ik 9 was begon ik daar te werken. Ik weet wel hoe moeilijk is het om buiten te slapen. Dus ik vind het wel heel leuk om dakloos mensen of vrij die vluchtelingen te hebben. Ik ben heel blij in die werk. Allemaal familie. De pakken worden helemaal gemaakt van afvalmateriaal. De materialen die halen wij van festivalterreinen af. Zo struinen wij echt allemaal slaapzakken daar vandaan. En wij krijgen donaties van grote textielbedrijven die restproducties hebben, zoals waterdichte tentstoffen. We hebben zo'n 3000 in totaal nu in Nederland uitgedeeld. En daarnaast zijn we ook naar Sarajevo gegaan, waar het -20 wordt in de winter. Dus daar is het echt heel koud. Maar ook Lesbos, waar veel vluchtelingen nu vastzitten. We krijgen alle materialen wel gratis, maar we willen de mensen hier in het atelier ook een toekomst bieden. We hebben nu een aantal mensen op de loonlijst. En dat willen we graag zo houden. Wij geloven erin dat eigenlijk iedereen warmte verdient. Of je nou vluchteling bent, dakloos bent of uitgeprocedeerd. Mijn droom is dat wij samen als mensheid gaan zorgen voor de mensen die niet zo goed voor zichzelf kunnen zorgen. Dus als wij nou lokaal op meerdere plekken in de wereld dit soort initiatieven kunnen opzetten, dat wij producten maken om mensen te beschermen, dat we uiteindelijk iedereen dat stukje bescherming kunnen bieden. En hopelijk dat het uiteindelijk niet meer nodig is, maar tot die tijd in ieder geval een warme jas. So that was a nice video. I referred to 3,000 shelter bags, shelter suits. But the good thing is we already accomplished much more. We made 13,000 of the shelter suits in our factory in the Netherlands. And yeah, the photo you see here is something super exciting because this is South Africa. I've been invited for Design in Daba, and before the conference, I traveled to South Africa to see if we can also do something for the homeless there. Of course, I saw that the shelter suit is like way too warm for the people there. It's like a sauna for them, but it's really needed to have a product there because it has a huge problem with homelessness, and it also has a very big problem with unemployment, especially the youth. So this recognition that like in the Netherlands, we needed a shelter suit, in South Africa, we needed something else, eventually led to also seeing that now we need products that are different all across the world. Like San Francisco needs to be a different product, LA needs to be a different product, maybe Shanghai needs a different product for the homeless. So what we did there is we really like looked at what is the need. So the need is that people have a comfortable place to sleep and a thing to carry their stuff. So a bag. So I just thought maybe I can combine the two, like a mattress that rolls up into a bag, which also has like a waterproof cover and a big hood that protects you from the rain. So that became eventually the shelter bag, as you can see here. And at the conference, I did a presentation, and Ravi, the founder of Design in Daba, gave us the first seed funding of 250 shelter bags. And the idea was that at this speech, I would ask for at least 250 extra suits. Well, it went completely crazy in the audience, which was super nice. I believe Philip even donated a shelter bag, but we ended up with almost 1,500 shelter bags. Where the ladies were able to work for a year. And now the most amazing thing happened a month ago. A private donor donated 10,000 bags. So we're expanding the factory there. The ladies have for at least 2 years of work. And yeah, the impact we're making there makes me really happy because I can use my skills as a designer to give jobs and make people warm and protected. We also have a video of a lady who is behind the sewing machine in our factory.
We always think it's like celebrities or people with a lot of money that can help or make a change in other people's lives. But it's just me and you. If you are available, then you can be the help to that next person. To me, it's a privilege to work where I'm working, knowing that my job is making a difference in the next person's life. It's a needlework studio. So basically, I'm ladies, and they are older than me. I'm the youngest chick on the block. They are to me like my sisters and my mother, because I can ask them for personal advice, and they also teach me to make these bags. Working here at the Sheltersuit Foundation, it is it's something different to where I come from. I have a background of call center, working doing a marketing job where I always had to push to make my target and get an incentive for it. But yeah, I earn my basic salary, but the incentive for me is knowing that this job that I'm doing here is going to make a change in the next person's life. So to me, it's not about money, but it's living out a use case. So it's awesome working here.
Yes, a lovely lady, and like all the ladies in our factory are just awesome. I can't wait to be back there. So for me now also a period is arriving that makes me personally very happy, because it seems that I can design more than just managing a foundation, because I'm really a designer at heart, and managing stuff can be very frustrating and painful for my brain sometimes. So what we did is that we in December designed a backpack totally made of scraps from Tenkate material, and we thought maybe we can do a pilot and create 180 backpacks all out of different price ranges and limited editions. There were a couple, we only had 30 because we only had materials for 30. There were a couple of bags, we only could make 5 because we only had materials for 5, and 5 unique backpacks. And we sold out within 32 hours, I believe. All the backpacks were sold. And that gave me really the feeling like, okay, maybe we can also begin a new chapter in Sheltersuit, where we create products that people can buy and be part of our solution. And like our slogan is people helping people. And I'm really thinking about naming the brand as well, people helping people, because if you buy it, you actually are the brand. I would also love to have some feedback from you guys, what you think of that. As you can see, these were the backpacks we made, all out of scrap materials like Leo Lux leather, seat belts as shoulder straps, inner lining from Dedon, Tenkate prints, funky backpacks. All the profits go to Sheltersuit, and we were able to hand out 1 shelter bag for every backpack sold. And right after December, in the middle of December, I traveled to the US because my goal was also to set up Sheltersuit Foundation in the US. But then I came in contact with Gabriella Hurst, who's a fashion designer, who's also a very purpose-driven fashion designer. She loved the suits, she loved the backpacks, and she donated privately also 250 Sheltersuits to the city of New York, which we distributed. And 2 months later, she became the head of design of Chloe, the fashion brand. And she called me and she said, hey, don't you want to do a collaboration? And I said, yes, of course, I would like to do a collaboration. What would you like to do? She said, well, maybe we can also design some backpacks. And I said, okay, super nice. How about some Sheltersuits? She said, yeah, of course. Come over to the Chloe studio and take a look in the factory. Well, I came there, and like everybody who saw me was like looking at a child in a candy store, like rooms full of fabrics, rooms full of buttons, all leftovers. And I could just, like, I asked her, what do you want me to design? And she said, well, I trust you, you got an eye for color, so please go and make whatever you want to make. So we designed 5 unique Sheltersuits, outside completely Tenkate materials upcycled, inside all Chloe fabrics, beautiful prints designed by Karl Lagerfeld, and it was like crème de la crème prints. So the Sheltersuits look super awesome. And we were also able to create a backpack line, similar like this, also 100% out of scraps. The inner lining from Chloe material, the outside, we printed Chloe prints on the leftover materials from Tenkate. Here's a small video of Chloe, of Gabriella talking about
the collaboration with Sheltersuit meant so much personally. His suits are made entirely of repurposed materials, and he has the prints of past collections.
So the cool thing is that I delivered the Sheltersuits to them. And what they did for the show is they just turned them inside out to show all the artwork. So what you were seeing there were the puffy inner linings for the Sheltersuit. And this is what Gabriella Hurst says. This is part of the Chloe mission, weaving purpose to business endeavors in a post-pandemic world to help acknowledge and elevate the hardship of others. A luxury brand has the duty to do so. And I totally agree. So we made the backpacks, which are these. It's all leftover, Prince Chloe, all leather leftovers. Super nice. And we were also in the fashion show. So for every backpack that is sold on the Chloe website and in their stores, they are donating 2 Sheltersuits, which is quite a lot because 2 Sheltersuits cost 600 euros. So it's also a high, how do you call it? Like a high-end product, which makes me also super excited about the future of Sheltersuit, because I would love to become a fashion brand as well, or a streetwear, aka fashion brand. And we were on the fashion show. Look at this, all inside out Sheltersuits, beautiful prints. I also took some scraps home, don't tell them, and I made my own nice hoodie of the scraps. This is like lace. I took some Chloe beautiful things. It's like super nice hoodie, like with the horses, and look at the back, also super nice. So yeah, don't tell them, but yeah, this is my nice hoodie, like totally made out of the smaller scraps. And I always get super excited that I can make something new out of available materials. And after this collaboration, there were quite a lot of other brands that reached out if we could use their materials, like Tommy Hilfiger, Moncler, quite a lot of brands. So we're really trying to think now in a concept where we become a fashion brand, all made of leftover materials, where the profit goes to the non-profit, and people really can wear the message of people helping people. Yesterday, I was at Gabriella Hurst's studio because I had 2 old hoodies, and I just cut them open and I put a scarf in between, so it's nice and warm. So I get really energized again to make new things. And this is the last video of the presentation. Everybody feel free, of course, to answer questions.
Homelessness and other seemingly insurmountable problems we see in the world today will only be solved through meaningful collaborations and partnerships. The Sheltersuit and Chloe collaboration is a fantastic example that stems from Chloe's drive to change the narrative of luxury fashion with purpose. This is what the Sheltersuit Foundation is all about. People helping people.
Yes, so this was my presentation, and the good news is that in October the products will be available, and we're also in conversation with them to have a longer term partnership, because yeah, there's a good match. So
But
and sorry for the mess up with the presentation.
oh, no, the homeless will be the best dressed people on the planet soon.
Yes, that's how it's supposed to be, right? The people in need.
Fantastic. I'm really so happy for you because correct me if I'm wrong, but the first time I saw you in New York, you told me that in fashion school, your teachers wanted you to understand that you were not a designer, but more a technician and an engineer, and that it would never be a career for you. And now what happens, man?
Yes.
You proved them wrong.
Yeah, that's maybe true. It's cool that you still remember. That hurt quite a lot when the teachers
I know,
said,
that's
because
right.
my dream was to be a designer, a fashion designer. But I also didn't really feel at home at the school because it was all about fashion, 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 while I was thinking a bit different. So I stopped at Artes after a year. So yeah, that I'm really happy, and I'm so happy, really, really, to be creative again, because that didn't happen for the past 6 years.
Yeah.
Like only in business things, but
So
not in
good for you. Yeah.
creation. So I'm super happy with that.
But let this be an example for all teachers here listening to us, that we cannot say that to people, that you just have to, like the chairs growing on the tree, you just have to have the, I don't know, the care and the love to help your students become, instead of making them, judging them.
I totally agree.
So old-fashioned, all this judging of students.
And I also think what a small thing maybe is that to confront students with the reality is also an important part. Like I was confronted with the horrible news of the father of my friends.
Yeah.
And I think that if the students are confronted with painful situations like the homeless, go to a shelter, go to an elderly home, go to a refugee center. Talk to the people, ask what is their need, what is their pain, and you will come back with inspiration and a will to help. I totally believe that.
Well, you certainly have set in motion a whole movement. It's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.